I'm all shook up.
On this episode, we will be interviewing special guest
Nevan Castaneda, all the way from Aurora, Colorado.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, no, of course, of course. So do you guys, how do you want to do it? Do you have like questions and stuff you have set up, or what's your rundown, so to speak?
So we just have like about 15 questions, about 15
Okay.
20 questions, and
Yeah.
just asking about your journey as a tribute
Okay.
artist. So,
Yeah, go for it.
all right.
Whatever you want to do.
So how many years have you been in ETA?
I have been singing Elvis, I want to say like 5 years, 5, 6 years, but like really professionally as far as producing my own shows and like really getting involved with my own shows like that, I'd say probably 3 years. But I've been doing the tribute, so to speak, or crafting it since COVID, really. It's like 5 years.
Okay. What's it like producing a show?
It's a pain in the ass. It's difficult, but you know what? It's a lot of fun because even before I got into Elvis, I was always in entertainment in some facet. I've done acting, I've done dance, singing, all that different stuff. So I always was kind of interested in everything regarding entertainment. So producing a show is obviously another layer to that, and actually, you know, getting to build, so to speak, the magic that you see on stages. It's a pain, it's difficult, but it's definitely rewarding when you get to. For instance, again, I have a bigger show this weekend in my hometown, or not too far from it. And once you see the tickets selling and you see the band coming together in the show, it's really rewarding. Obviously, once you get to that the goal, so to speak, and you're like, you know, I did it. Or if I didn't, you're like, well, you know, tomorrow's another day. So, yeah.
And that show has limited seats, right?
Yeah, no, it does. It does, which is great because I've really started to pierce through. Obviously there's different demographics, especially when it comes to Elvis. I'm kind of in an interesting part of the country, just above Texas and all that stuff, and where, Texas is chock full of Elvis, obviously, and Elvis shows and tributes and all that, whereas Colorado, not so much so. So, and it's a very active place and a very active musical place. But figuring where Elvis fits into that mix has been kind of interesting, and trying to figure out how to pierce through and say, hey, this is a good show. This is a show you want to see, whether you're a big Elvis fan or you're not, or because it's not predominantly, I would say, like huge Elvis fans everywhere. We definitely do have them here in Colorado, but I would say it's we have a little more skepticism over here. But so that's why it's cool to, start selling out shows and really building the brand of the show, so to speak. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started your journey as an ETA?
Well, I became an Elvis fan in 2016, so I was about 13 years old or so, and all that. And just like everybody else, everybody has their different stories of how they found themselves to Elvis. What's great about it, I think, now is more often than not what I hear, especially from people in our age group, so to speak, or around that, is a lot of them found it themselves. A lot of them didn't grow up with it, and a lot of them just found it, whether I found it on YouTube or they found it through the movie or they found it through a different medium. But what's kind of cool is people are finding their way to Elvis more, so to speak, these days, I feel like, than before, which is really cool. And that's exactly how I kind of started. And I saw an Elvis tribute show. I saw Joseph Hall. He was my first Elvis tribute I ever saw. I love Joe. He's a dear friend of mine now. We've had fireball shots, so we have a good time now.
Love
But
that.
he's an amazing guy, and I would plug him for sure, because he's a good guy, and he's a really great guy, and he's one of those that's not in the, so to speak, establishment of the ETA world, we'll say, and he's kind of done his own thing, and he's done very well at it. And so I saw his show in about 2018, I want to say, or 2017. And I was hooked. I loved it. I loved the lights. I loved all the movements. It was like watching an Elvis concert, so to speak. And I was like, oh, man, this is great. And he was so personable and so kind to me. It just continued to light that spark. And then I went to Graceland during Elvis week. And that was, I'd say, the final nail in the coffin. That was like, I want to do this. So,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
So, what's your favorite thing about being an ETA?
I don't know. Let me see. I'd say how many different people it's allowed me to meet, which I think is the same for, most Elvis fans, is it's something you had no idea how big of a thing it was. and just him as a person, and then just the what he cultivated, what he made, right, his legacy. But I'd say that's probably the most exciting thing. I never, it never ceases to amaze me, rather, just how vast Elvis has impacted people, and just how sincerely Elvis has impacted people. I see that all the time. Like, when I first met Kimby up there, Samantha Kimball and all that, and seeing how big of a fan she was and all that, and just seeing that continue again and again every time. And it's funny because, as an ETA, and like having conversations with different guys in the business, guys who are twice my age or closer, what have you, about what it looks like for the future of this thing, for Elvis and for the Elvis tribute shows, so to speak, on stage, live. What does that look like? There's always that little part of me that's sitting there, I'm like, man, what's it going to look like in like 10 years? It's going to be in the 2030s. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what is that going to look like? But every time I think that, and I'm kind of worried about it, I'm like, man, I don't know. Then I see another little kid in a little Aloha jumpsuit off Amazon or whatever, and they're just singing their heart out or moving their heart out, and they don't care what they look like or who's watching or whatever. They just love it. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that just makes me feel just amazing just to see. So I'd say that's it. Is just seeing how profoundly people still love Elvis. It's amazing, and it's one of those things that even long after I don't wear the jumpsuit anymore, so to speak, and all that. It's just it's such a passion for people. He's such a unique and profound artist that has impacted people. So that's probably the biggest thing. That's the coolest part to watch. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
What inspired you to become an ETA?
I kind of answered that, I guess, but I mean, like, a few things. I mean, just like, chances are, like, through my life, like I said, different music and different stages of performing that I've done. If I like something, if I'm interested in it, I'm gonna research everything and anything about it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna attempt it. If it's a song I like or something, I'm like, I want to give that a shot, right? I want to see if I can pull that off. And like I said, I just saw Joseph Hall do it. Next, actually, I saw another tribute as well. I think I want to say before Elvis Week, and that was Travis Allen in Las Vegas,
Oh.
who's been there for a long time, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
with Kurt Brown. Oh, that's a great show, and they just recently moved it to the Alexis Resort. It was at Planet Hollywood when I first went, and yeah, no, it's an amazing show. And again, I just saw the same thing. You see how the music still impacts people, and it's one of those things. I had this conversation with a friend of mine that's not from here. He's from Morocco, actually. And he was asking me about these shows, and he's taken some video of me and done. He's a photographer, and he asked. He was like, "Man, what do you think it is about the music and stuff, man? And why do you think this thing is still, relevant, or is going to keep going?" And again, it was kind of just like, again, just the way it impacts people. When you present it in the correct fashion, right? There's definitely a wrong and a right way to do everything. What the answer is to that, I can't tell you. Obviously, that's not up to me, but there's definitely a certain presentation to bring things to people correctly. And obviously, if you do that as a tribute correctly, then it just brings that feeling of uh, the same feeling as you were sitting there watching the YouTube videos or watching the concerts, and it's just elevated just because you're in a live concert setting, obviously, and you're watching people in real time go up and get a scarf, or you're seeing the band play Pokes Out, or you're seeing all that stuff. So it's just more exciting because it's live and it's right in front of you, obviously, right? Like, I wish with everything in me that Elvis was still around and that I could have seen Elvis, right? But the reality is he's not. So, and people crave live music. People love nostalgia, people love good music, and they love live music. So, the Elvis tribute is kind of a culmination of all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why tributes in general, but especially an Elvis tribute, it still captures people's attention. Whether there's people that make fun of it or bash it or not, there still is definitely a place for it, without a doubt. Without a doubt, at least right now. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, like now about performing, what is your favorite era to perform?
70s, easily.
Mm-hmm.
1970s, it's not even close for me. And it's funny because I was always one of those that I didn't want to rush into the jumpsuit, because I've always been very self aware, thank God. And I know that, if I'm watching a show, there's so many guys, I don't name names, obviously, but I don't like to see people that aren't ready, let's say, to fill the shoes of, say, the 68 leather or a big jumpsuit or things like that. I don't like to see things like that. And I think the best roadmap and guide to that, so to speak, is, for example, take a look at Dean Z. He just started really getting into the jumpsuits, not even a year ago or 2 years ago. And it's because he's in his 40s. He just turned 40, and that's when Elvis, he's kind of following the timeline that Elvis did it, so to speak. And while I don't intend to do that, being 21, obviously I don't intend to be doing that at that age. Um, I really loved that because it, you can't, it's like putting your dad's shoes on and not being able to fit in it, obviously, right? If you're not ready for that, you're just not ready for it. So it sucks because my favorite era was the 70s. It always has been. But I was like, I can't, fully wear the jumpsuit and all that stuff. It just doesn't feel right. It just wouldn't look right. So I didn't, and again, I saw everybody wearing jumpsuits and I was like, it just doesn't look right, man. And the leather included. I think I got to a point, and I am at a point where I do feel comfortable enough to wear it and to where it does look good and to do it in the shows and that it comes off authentic and it feels better and it looks right. Whereas it's not like, what am I watching? What's this kid doing? All that stuff. You can really take it seriously as a show, and because again, Elvis deserves that, obviously, right? That's the big thing that a tribute's supposed to do, and that films are supposed to do, and any new publication about Elvis or somebody in that arena is you want it to be respectful, right? And you want it to be remind people that this was a good show, whatever I did or another tribute did. Imagine how good Elvis was. It's one of those things. That's what it should be. They should be watching it and be like, wow, that was so much fun. Oh my God, I want to go to this. Da, da. But man, how good was Elvis then? And then you go back and watch Elvis and you listen to his stuff and everything, look at all that. And it's supposed to solidify just how good he was, is what these shows are, so to speak. So, yeah, I kind of forgot what the question was, but yeah.
So, since the question was, what's your favorite era to perform? Have you ever, do you have the 68 leather? Have you?
No, I don't. I don't at the moment. I've thought about it. I'm thinking about it right now, actually, because I'm kind of like charting out my, journey over the next year or two that I'm trying to traject, right? But so I'm thinking about it. I'm not for sure on it yet, but if I do, I can promise that I'll look much better in it than Moses will. So.
Does he even have the leather?
No, I don't think so. He might. I don't know.
How do you know that you'll look better?
Because I know. No, but
right.
No, it's. I think he might have Vic Trevino's. Just ask Vic. He has like all of his wardrobe. So, but I have no idea. Huh? Do
I
what?
said that's fair.
He does. He does. But they both know that. But no, it's no, I don't have the black leather. Not at this time. No, I'm thinking of whether my next buy is going to be another jumpsuit or black leather. I'm not sure.
Do black leather.
She goes through black leather. I might. We'll see. We'll see.
I think you should, because if you order it now,
I don't know.
then for King and Cash,
I'm not wearing that for King and Cash. You crazy?
Hey, you're a guest. You can do what you want.
Yeah, and I'm doing my own stuff. I'm doing a different kind of music. No, yeah.
Wear the jacket.
I'm not doing Elvis. No, because we have.
You could wear the pants though. Just
the black leather pants.
Yeah.
I'd make like a mix outfit, like a fit. I make a fit.
Or one of your like rhinestone shirts or something with, or that shirt.
Maybe, I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm not sure, but no, it's yeah. Anyway, so that's on the trajectory. But anywho.
Okay, back onto the questions. What was your first Elvis performance like?
My first Elvis performance?
Yes, like the first time you walked on stage, the first time you performed in front of a crowd.
I don't really, specify that, because you start like, parties, little things. So you mean like on a stage? You mean like at a party, or like what respect do you mean like first performance?
Just
the whole thing. In front of a crowd.
Yeah.
Anybody? Okay. I don't remember my exact first one, but I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was a retirement party. I think it was like one of my dad's friends or something like that. And I'm pretty sure it was something like that at the time. And I'll move it to this because this is more interesting. This is more interesting. Okay, because that was fun too. That was cool for me too. But on a stage, and this is still really early. This is when I was first really early in it. I still have like my sister's little blue like toy guitar from when she was a kid. But and the first time I'll say that really sticks out to me, like big memory, is a school talent show that we did in middle school. I think it was seventh grade. It might have been seventh or eighth grade. And I still didn't have a suit. I didn't have like anything officially yet. I had that, you know, it starters like Aloha suit you get on Amazon that just has like little sequins on it and stuff. It doesn't have anything real on it. But and I just wore the belts and I wore blue jeans and a white like dress shirt and then just like a little red like scarf kind of thing. So I kind of like made up my own little outfit. And I was called Nelvis at the time. That's what everybody called me in middle school. So that was kind of fun. And so everybody kind of like got into it. I was into Michael Jackson and Elvis at the time. So they actually called me Melvis, which was fun. And yeah, I just remember getting on stage, and it was one of those things that's always fun to me. Like I said again, too, is especially people our age, and at that time, definitely middle school and high school, people are so nervous to admit they like something, right? They don't want to give more energy than the next person's giving, right? Just in case it's not the thing. I mean, it's accurate. I mean, teenagers, at least these days, don't do that. So it's really fun when you get a chance to prove people wrong, so to speak. And they're like, not that I was ever like given a hard time at the Elvis thing, but kind of like goofy, like, oh, look,
Mm-hmm.
there's the Elvis guy. He's got this spiked hair, and he watches Elvis all day at recess or whatever. But no, it was really cool to be able to get up there and then just I've just always loved performing, so I just performed when I got up there, and I did CC Rider, and yeah, and I just did the whole thing. I did the little Elvis growls and everything too, and little
Mm-hmm.
stuff he did in the '70s, and they loved it and they went crazy and they thought it was the best thing ever. And it was just awesome. It was just awesome. It felt like I've had a couple of those moments like in school, but like that was one where like I call it my Elvis movie moment, like the Austin Butler when he's in the suit, he's at the hayride, he's in the pink suit, and like everybody's like, what is this guy? What's he gonna do? And then he does it, and it's just like, wow. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I felt like when I did that, and it just kind of like boosted the comments, like, oh man, see, it is cool. I told you, and like again, like it was cool. So I'd say that's probably one of the bigger ones is like showing everybody in my school, like, it's more than just like a couple points and it's the Elvis kid and like a little chuckle. Like it's really cool. Like Elvis was really cool, man, and the songs are great. It's a lot of fun. So that was a really cool moment, I would say, probably.
Okay. So, what is your favorite song to perform on stage?
Uh, I don't know, man. I mean, it's again, Elvis has 850 songs. Changes all the time. I'm happy, like I said, I'm really happy now that I'm into doing the '70s, like officially on stage and with a full band and horns and all that stuff because that is my favorite. So like I said, so I'm really like rediscovering Elvis, which I know I'm sure you've heard that before. And so people like you go through little phases of things, especially when you're into it for years, and then you're like, oh man, I love it. I forgot this. I'm reminded why I love it so much. So I'm back. I'm fully building my '70s set of the show. And right now, I would say probably my favorite to perform, or one of my favorites. There's two. I'll say two. Um, Always on my mind and softly as I leave you right now, which not many people say. I don't think so. I'll say that.
There's like two Elvis guys over here, and that's it.
Who is it? Who's over there? Who's
Well,
closest to you?
close is David King and then
Oh yeah.
Benjamin Dolsky. Or
Oh, I know Ben.
yeah,
Yeah, Ben's been in this for ages, dude.
he
But
he was at my birthday party and he performed a
was
song.
he? That's
Mm-hmm.
cool. That's really cool. I've only met him like once or twice. See, that's the thing I hate too is the guys that I love the most. Usually, I don't see them very often. They're like I see them like very briefly, but that's cool though. Yeah, Ben's been even when it was Lake George. They used to have a Lake George competition that doesn't exist anymore, and all that he used to do. But yeah, he's great. Ben's cool. But
Mm-hmm.
anywho, to the question, um, what was the question?
uh, any upcoming shows?
Oh yeah. No, I have the biggest one that's coming up right now. It's at the end of the week. Is here in Brighton. It's like 10 minutes down the street from my dad's childhood house where he grew up.
Oh,
So it's really cool. It's really cool they're able to do this. It's probably the next one coming up. And then I have shows at Waldo's. I do Waldo's Chicken here every month, which is a fun. That's actually, I don't know. That's the next one. That's Thursday. So I have that this Thursday before that. And then I have the show in Brighton on Saturday. We have one at the Wild Goose coming up pretty soon. The date shifted. It's a place in town. It's all in Colorado. And then we have one at Phil Long Music Hall, Colorado Springs. So there's a decent amount of dates coming. I'll be at Clambake as well as far as festivals go. So that'll be
Okay.
fun. And then obviously I'll be in Texas in March at the at Arlington, which should be a lot of fun because Arlington's a beautiful place. I've wanted to go there before, which I've never been there. And then yeah, it'll be great because it'll be my 22nd birthday, and then it'll be Moses's 23rd birthday. So it'll be a fun little time celebrating, and
Mhm.
it'll be a great show. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one. We got David Allen and then Shake, Rattle, and Roll and all of them. So it'll be a good time.
And you
And
also have a couple songs coming out too, don't you?
I do, yeah, I do have that. I appreciate you mentioning that. Besides the Elvis stuff, because that's my original material. So I have a song called "Ashes to Ashes" also coming out this Saturday in limbo with doing the show. I did that on purpose, so we'll have a room full of like 200 some people, and I'll be able to say also I have an original song that came out today, and they'll be able to go listen to that, which is great. So I need to make the QR code for that. Just reminded myself that for the screen. But anyway, yeah, so that's coming out Saturday. It's called Ashes to Ashes. I have 6 new songs coming out this year. And that's the best.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, in my opinion, is doing singles and EPs. It's tough to make an album. First of all, it's expensive, especially because I've only been privileged, and I'm definitely privileged. I'm lucky to be able to only work in Nashville, and I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else. I've been so lucky to do it there since I was 15, or whatever, 16 now. And yeah, I'm so used to the Nashville people. So yeah, so I wouldn't want to make an album anywhere else, and it's so expensive to do so anyway. But yeah, so we have 6 songs coming out. When Someone Comes Along was just announced as well, so I have that one coming out in February on Valentine's Day. That'll be really cool. And then should I say I was about to say the title of the third one. It's not announced yet.
Just,
It's
Little
gonna be
teaser.
it's gonna
mm-hmm.
be the title of the EP. I suppose it's fine. It'll be coming out the day of Arlington when I do the Arlington show on my birthday,
Okay.
which
Okay.
again is perfect. So we'll have the birthday, the show, and then the single called Pulse will be coming out March 14th. It's called Pulse, which is a great tune. I'm really excited about. So that's nobody else knows that besides people here and a few people that know me. But so the next single after that is called Pulse. And that's going to be the title of the EP. I'm very excited about that. There's a lot of meaning behind all of these songs, which I'll talk about more through this year, but they're all very personal. And most of them were written by me. I did have amazing co-writers with me as well doing them, but I really felt more in control of these songs than I have in the past. And as far as like really, it's me in these songs. Like these are my lyrics, these are my melodies. So that's really cool for me and all that. So I'm very much excited for that, and hope that people like them overall. So very excited about it.
I'm sure they'll love them.
You also have a website
Mm.
as
I
well.
do
Yeah.
have it's nevancastanedamusic.com. And if people don't know how to spell that, I have a Facebook and all that good stuff. But yeah, and that has all the website. Good God. That has all the show dates coming up. It has all the original music information. It has kind of a cool section that I put on there of all the people I've met over the years through music, legends in the business, people like Daryl Worley, Ronnie McDowell, James Burton, who I haven't seen for years now. But, lots of different people, like Larry Strickland, who I've met many times now, and know a few close friends of his. So just a lot of great people, Elvis related and otherwise as well. Like a kind of cool thing, I'll throw her out there because she's doing so well, is my fiddle player that's on all of my current songs and records. Her name is Janae Fleener, and she is a 5-time CMA Musician of the Year.
Wow.
She's the only woman to
Wow.
win that. She's the only female to win that award, and 5 years in a row. So she's hot shit. And she's currently on tour with George Strait. She tours with George a lot. She tours with Willie. She's the Voices in-house fiddle player and arranger for the show for The Voice. She does everything. Grand Ole Opry, she's there all the time. So she has a group called Woodbox Heroes, which is like a bluegrass group, which is amazing. So I encourage people to go check that out. Janae Fleener, and like I said, she is like the top of the top. Like everybody works with her. Drake Milligan just recorded his whole album with her and all that stuff. So I get to say that she's on my stuff too. But but anyway, so that's pretty amazing, and I'm thankful to get a chance to do that with her. So I encourage everybody to go listen to her as well. There's a lot of great music out there, past the Elvis. That, like I said, there's so much good stuff, and and I'm looking to develop that in my own show this year as well. I have two shows. I have the Elvis show, and then I have my other show, which is the second half is Elvis, and the first half is entirely rock and country and blues and all that stuff. So yeah, looking forward to that. So how long have you guys been doing the podcast, Dan? I forget.
Couple months.
Yeah, since August.
Okay. Couple
Yeah, so-
months. Whose idea was it to start it?
Well, we had
What
like
idea
talked
was it?
about it, but we weren't really like sure. And
Mhm.
so like one day we were just like, let's start like interviewing guys, like ETAs, and just see how it goes.
Just random
Let's
people.
start interviewing guys. Let's do it. That's funny. That's funny. Who have you guys had a bunch of different people on?
A couple
We've
different.
had
We
a
have
couple.
A couple.
with the
That's cool.
holidays and stuff. We didn't really bother to.
No, I got you. That's cool though. That's cool though. Build it up. Make it so, because there's a few podcasts out now. It feels like there's
Yeah.
been like 3 or 4 or more that have popped up this past like couple years, but doesn't mean
Yep.
y'all, again, just power through, make y'all's own thing, and make it fun, make it cool, have a good time with it. And I mean, these were good questions. I had a good time with it. So
We might try and make some merchandise as well.
Yeah.
We've been talking about
Cool.
that.
go for it. I mean, you're going to Elvis Week, right, Sam? At least you are. I mean, that'd be a good time. I mean, if you wanted to, have some things going, cultivate it, and I'll let you know. But because what's the official name of it exactly?
The All Shook Up podcast.
All Shook Up. Heck yeah, there you go. That's a good name. It's a good name. Have any of y'all? Are y'all going to see Epic? I take it.
Heck yeah.
Yes,
Hell yeah.
absolutely. And the Michael Jackson movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about that. No, but I was so upset because a lot of people I knew were at the premiere in
Oh, I
Memphis and all,
know.
including my mother. She was there, but I was
saw
here
her
doing
post
shows
about going.
and
I
all
was
that. I was
How
getting
dare
over being
she.
I was getting over being sick too, so I mean I didn't really want to go anywhere. But I was upset too because I've heard it's really good. Like I didn't know what to think of it. Like some guys even were like, man, it started as like a skeptical thing of like, okay, this is
Mhm.
whatever. It's just the same stuff. And then it got interesting because, of course, everybody slowed down the footage 1,000 times and caught little glimpses of stuff he was wearing and everything. And then I got more interested, but I'm sure I was still kind of like, what's this really going to add or be new with it? So I've
Yeah.
heard it's really good, though. I've heard it was really, really good by everybody that saw it, and that it was not what they thought it would be, and that it was something really cool and unique. So looking forward to it. And again, I mean, it's another thing to add to the Elvis legacy, so we can bring people back into theaters and all to go see him. So I mean, I hope it does well. I mean, Elvis, and in respect to biopics, so you're talking about Michael Jackson, Elvis was the second, highest grossing of all time. So before Queen, after Queen. So I'm
That
curious
movie
to see.
was so good too.
Was good. I'm curious to see where the Michael one ends up and all that. We'll see with that. We'll see with that too. I highly doubt we'll see an image of Michael with Lisa Marie, but we'll see.
Yeah, I
That'd be fun.
know.
That'd be really cool.
Mhm.
It would.
That'd be really dope. I was also, that's always a question that's been in my head. What would Elvis have thought if he saw Michael Jackson? Lisa Marie. I've always thought about that. Like Priscilla was like, no, you need to. I'm sure Elvis would have been like, you're the hee guy or some shit like that, man. He would have been like really goofy about it, and then again pulled out his gun and all that shit. And he would have been like giggling at him. He'd have been like giggling, you're so silly, Elvis. But no, I just because again, I actually own. Have you heard the recording where Elvis introduces the Jacksons, Michael Jackson, on the stage?
I don't think so.
Because they played obviously, and you can see that in the Elvis movie for like 2 seconds. They're like the new sensation, the Jackson 5 on the strip at the end when Elvis is turning 40 and he's about to go to the tarmac to meet Priscilla.
Oh yeah.
You hear it on the strip. They're talking about Vegas and how we still have some for the old folks too. And that's
Mhm.
Elvis, but the new act is the Jacksons. And I'm glad they put that because Elvis, that's how they met Lisa Marie and Michael, was through Elvis's shows and being on the same road and everything. Call ends in 15 minutes. Fuck off. I'm just kidding.
I just got that notification too. I thought
But,
it was seconds, and I was like,
No, but anyway, yeah, no, I have the recording actually. Me and John Daly have talked about this of when the Jacksons were in the crowd at Lake Tahoe in May of 1974, and you hear you hear Elvis introduce them, and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the hot new groups. They're a talented bunch of guys, the Jackson Five." And you hear them all stand up, and you hear him. He's like, "There's little Michael. Sit down, son," or something like that. He says something like that. And little did he know he would be the biggest thing ever at the time. So I would have been really curious to see that, you know, and then obviously considering him and Lisa were together. And I personally think that's the only person she truly connected with, but that's my opinion. But that's a whole different discussion, again, obviously. But
Lots of different discussions.
of course, you know, you can talk about this stuff all day long, you know, it's fun stuff, it's cool. But anywho, well, I appreciate it, guys. Do you have any more things to add or anything you want to ask? All that good stuff. We
Just
have
one more.
14 minutes and 25 seconds left. So no, I'm just kidding.
One last question.
Okay, what is it?
If you could ask Elvis one thing, what would it
Oh
be?
no! I've been asked this before. You know who asked this? I think it was Austin Irby. He had a podcast during COVID. And yeah, I think he asked that question. And man, that's so hard. I had a good answer the last time when he asked. Oh, I haven't been asked that since then.
Mm-hmm.
I had an answer. I had an answer I was actually pretty happy with. What would I say to Elvis, man? You know, it's funny. I always say one of two things. Usually I say because the thing is, I've met some people already, like in this business that I've looked up to, you know, and all this stuff, like musicians and singers. So, and I thought 1,000 times over, what am I going to say if I ever ran into these people, and like, how am I going to, you know, what's going to happen, you know? And you go through a million different scenarios. The good ones where you're buddy and you get along and they think you're cool. And then the other ones where, you know, you think you're going to be the shit and you're just shit when you walk up to them. So I've thought about that in regards to Elvis. I've had dreams about that. You know, I was like, I want to say something profound to him, but then I'd probably be like, "Oh, Hound Dog's pretty good." It's like something stupid like that. But I would want to just say that he was enough. That's it. Something to that extent. Like if it really came down to it and I was able to say it. I would love to just sit with him and watch him play gospel music. I would just love to watch him at the piano. I think that'd be really fun, and maybe join in on a song or two and all that, and then just tell him that he was enough, you know, because that's what it came down to. And most big artists today, even, are ones that passed before him, after him. That was always the big thing. And I do think that this was very well titled, The Searcher. I thought that was very well titled, that documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was, you know, he definitely was somebody. Even religion, you know, talk about religion. Obviously, you know, I'm so snarky. Obviously, you know, you have like Southern folk and be like, "Oh, he was a good old Christian boy, and that's how he lived." Blah, blah, blah. And that's true. But I'll also tell you that Elvis loved learning, right? And Elvis learned a lot about a lot of different things and religions and people. And he loved to learn. That's partly why, again, his relationship with like Larry Geller was so controversial. Some of the TCB guys liked him, some of them didn't, because he was a hippie and this and that. And he had different thoughts and ideas that Elvis listened to, and some thought it was a good idea, thought it wasn't, blah, blah, blah. But the matter of it is Elvis was always searching for something. You know, you could link that to his brother passing, all that stuff, right? But he was always a searcher. So I would just love to have had a conversation with him about that. Just a casual conversation like I'd have with anybody, like, which is what he wanted ultimately, you know, probably too, is like at a bar or like this or anything like that. Just, you know, it would be difficult to do that because he's Elvis, obviously, and he's Elvis to us, to me. And, but yeah, I would just love to say either one of those two things, either just that you were enough, and then just to be able to maybe just sit and talk about, you know, the world and what he thinks of it, and religion and politics and stuff like that, what his thoughts are, and just really talk to him, just really hear what he has to say. He was a smart guy, you know. It's one of those things, and that's also another thing that I think gets overshadowed with him, and especially with how he, you know, passed away and all that stuff, was you have to give Elvis credit. He was a very smart guy. He was not a dummy with what he was doing, the good and the bad things that he was doing and did. Right. He was a smart dude. This was not a dumb guy. This was a guy that, again, was very knowledgeable. He loved to learn. He was very intellectual. So yeah, that's another thing too that I would just really love to pick his brain, just to see what he thought about things, and all that. Because somebody like that, I'm sure he would love it too. It's the conversations he loved to have. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's probably it. Is either just you were enough, or just pick his brain about like life subjects and things like that, and just see what he had to say. Be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Good answer.
anyway, what's that?
It's a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long answer, as mine usually are. And I can't just be like, well, I think I'd say, and then yeah.
I warned her. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, I mean yeah, I have a lot to say. but anyway, no, it's we love the guy, so it's what would you say? Here, I'll ask you that question really quick.
Mm.
We have 30 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Hi. I don't know.
I don't know
what I would
either.
say.
What would you? Okay, well, what do you think of when you think Elvis? What's the first thought? I'll just ask that. We'll put it that way. What's the first thought or word? Doesn't matter what it is. It can be a thought, a word, a feeling, whatever it is.
I guess just like
Passionate.
okay. Just like wanting to sit down and like get to know about him from him, like his story from him.
That's kind of why they say epic is cool. I'll just say that is because he's kind of narrating the whole thing, is what I'm told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they found that audio. I'd be curious. I need to look that up, look more into that. But yeah, it's supposedly him like talking through the entire thing, pretty much, which is really interesting. But and stuff we've never heard him say.
Yeah.
And heard him talk about. So that's a good thought, passionate and yeah, and just wanting to know what he's about. I mean, that's fair. It's one of those things that. Okay, this is one more. I have a question now. I'm writing a question. But all right, this is another one that I thought was really great. Austin Irby asked me this one. If you could go see Elvis at any time period of his career, why? What would you see and why? It could be either a specific concert, specific year, or whatever it is, or moment, funny moment, really cool moment, whatever it is. What concert, what time, and why would you do that? I thought that was a good question.
68 comeback.
Okay. And why?
Because
you're a female and he's wearing black leather. The end. Next. I was kidding.
you didn't even let me talk.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I feel like he was nervous a lot during the 68 comeback because he hadn't been in front of a live audience in years. And I feel like throughout the entire
special,
you could kind of see his spark come back and him kind of get used to the feeling of an audience again. So you kind of got to see him come alive again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I agree. Lily, what would you do? Where would you be?
Probably 69 in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah? Return to Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why? Why that?
Because I feel like he was just like kind of what Samantha said. With 68, he was still kind of shy in front of a crowd. But with 69, he just like kind of went not
I
wild.
would argue he was. I call 69 just ADHD is what I call that on steroids, because his thoughts are so scattered and just all over the place, and he's just nuts. Like you hear that again, that monologue, which is so great. They made that little animated short to it, which is just very funny. I think it's so good. And he's talking about when he went to Hollywood and there was things crawling on the walls. He went, who, he, what? And he's like, just spoofing, and he's just funny and just ADHD everywhere. And I was like, oh, look at them things on the walls and the International Freaky Hilton. I'm going to go to a little, and he's just, he's just all over the place. And that's kind of why I like 74 and later 74 is because, yeah, you could argue it's the implementation of something not good happening, right? But he was so damn funny. My God, when he was just loose, like completely loose. Not like, the Madison Square Garden shows are awesome. They're amazing. Aloha, same thing. His energy wasn't quite, but that's different. But his voice was there. It was amazing. But he's not loose. He's not loose at those shows at all. And while, yes, you could argue those are tighter shows. They're more slick. They're tighter. They're cooler. I loved when he was just loose and just funny and just saying random shit like again, like at College Park, and I still need to buy that show. I buy all these shows on eBay all the time. But when he's staring at the floor before Hound Dog, and he goes, "Somebody wrote something dirty on the floor
Mhm.
here," and I'm just,
I love that clip.
and it's just so funny to me. Same to you, fella. And then he goes, and it's like he's sitting back on a couch, just like looking at the wall, and just like he's just like feels so goofy. And again, like him telling JD, what was there's another line. He goes, "JD, tell the crowd they are fantastic." He goes, "You are fantastic." And it's just so funny. It's just so loose. And he was such a natural. It's one of those things that always reminds me is he was definitely under the influence of things during those concerts and at that time. But it just showed you how natural he was and how funny he was.
Yeah.
And not at all uptight, not at all, wound up at all. Just very much like I think I have the longest show he ever did, which is almost 3 hours. It's like 2.5 hours. It's like 2.5 hours, and a lot of it's him talking. And then he does random songs kind of throughout it. But even like Guadalajara he does, which is crazy and shit like that in
That's
70
awesome.
in 1976. But it's such a fun show though, and he just sits there telling stories, and it's literally just like you're in the living room with him, like with Elvis, which is so cool to me. And that's why I kind of love those. I want to be at one of those shows. That's why I've always said, even though he despised Vegas and Tahoe, I would love to be at one of those shows, particularly the ones in like 74 or like 75, because he was so goofy and loose and just like, it was just like casual. You could hear everything he was saying. And you were like right there. Versus an arena, you have no idea what's going on, and all that stuff all the time. So it's more intimate, and you could really see his expressions and what he's doing and joking. And so I'd say that's probably what I would go to, is one of the Vegas or Tahoe shows. And I talked to David Briggs about that, his electric keyboard player, before he passed away. I talked to him about this a couple years ago, and we had a great conversation about it. And we were talking about those Vegas and Tahoe shows, and just how loose he was. And David told me certain looks Elvis would give that would mean certain things at the end of the night, which I won't go into. But anyway, just stuff like that. So he was just a funny guy, a natural guy. So anyway, I appreciate it. And
Yeah,
happy early birthday again. Lily, when's your birthday?
April. April
Happy
13th.
early birthday.
Thank you.
And hope to meet you one of these days, some point down the line.
Hopefully
That'd be
sometime
cool.
soon.
Elvis Week 2026. Come on.
Do what?
Elvis Week 2026.
I might not be going. We'll see. I'll see. Might not be going. We'll find out. But anyway, I would like to meet you one of these days. That'd be cool. I'll
Yeah.
see you in March, Sam. And anyway,
Excited.
guys. Yeah.
Thank you
so I
so much
appreciate
for
it, y'all.
joining.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, you too.
Take care. Bye bye.